Well guys, it is now time for me to react to another Monster Truck event, as we're still going through some of my classics of my childhood. As next up, we're going to do the second Monster Jam event I ever saw, and that was Monster Jam Orlando 2000 Racing. This was the second Monster event I saw right after New Orleans 2000 Racing and all that. So yeah, this is a wild event. If you thought New Orleans was wild, this was probably the most wildest racing event of the 2000 season outside of World Finals 1. The stuff you saw here was absolutely insane throughout the night. Incredible stuff that they're doing back in 2000. So yeah, let's get to this, shall we? This is so nostalgic. And also, I lowered the volume a lot more. Now it's at like 3. So hopefully it doesn't get caught anything. So I can just upload this because I had to do it for Jack's New Orleans Freestyle as well. I had to re-render it multiple times and all that. And the resolution is smaller, but I'm still not sure if it's the resolution of the video or the audio that's doing it, since YouTube won't specifically tell me what's causing it. It just says it's feld blocking it and all that, which is really irritating. Alright, so yeah, this is very nostalgic, and since you probably didn't hear what they were saying since I was talking, they were talking about how Tom got his flag back from winning race in Anaheim. So I'm assuming that Anaheim maybe took place after New Orleans, because like I said, off the top of my head, I think Tom only lost racing twice in 2000. We already saw in New Orleans, and that, spoiler, is here tonight as well. His only second loss in racing comes tonight as well, and a wild run it was. So yeah, cannot wait to see this. So racing tonight, unlike St. Louis and New Orleans, it's U-turn tonight, and there's 12 trucks here, unlike the 8 that was in New Orleans. And if I remember correctly, this was up there as the biggest field in 2000, because unlike nowadays where they have like 14 or 16 trucks, a lot of times it would be like 12, 10, hell, even 8. Yeah, even big arena events like New Orleans would have just 8 trucks competing back then sometimes. Now it's mostly arenas that would have 8 trucks and all that. Hell, back then it would be usually 6 trucks in Montreal to compete in arenas, not 8. Now 8's like a luxury in comparison. Yeah, I cannot wait for this. As it's St. Louis, it's U-turn, but with like a couple jumps along the way. It's not a straight line down. Which honestly, thinking about it, maybe I should consider that maybe in a future track or MTWS tracks in 2024 if I do U-turn. Add some jumps down to make it a little bit more interesting instead of just doing a straight line. And not wait to watch racing here. It's going to be fun as hell. Because some of the most memorable, like, we saw what happened in New Orleans racing some time ago when Jim had his infamous flip and all that. There were a lot of infamous moments in this event, too, that rivaled what Jim did. God, there was like 3 of them at least. 2 wild flips. Tom, like literally every single jump Tom did, he got some massive air and all that. Alright, so here was the field. Start off Andy Slicko in Eradicator. This was the first time, too, I was seeing him. Alan Pizzo and Predator. I think this was the first time driving since his wild event in Atlanta. And then there was Dave Pizzo in Prowler. And then Pat Suma in Thrasher. It's so nice seeing all these trucks again. And then Wild Fang, rip Tony Farrell, too. This was his last year. I think he drove Wild Fang before he went to Sting next year. And now this was, I think Cliff Thomas who was driving Nitro in this event. He was the crew chief for Gravedigger in the New Orleans event. And then, of course, there's Rob Nell and NWO. And then Sky Hartley driving Sting. And I think, no, it wasn't his first year drive, that's right. But yeah, that was a big chunk of the field, but you didn't see all of it. Scott Hardsock and Gunslingers here, rip as well for him. Tom Mentz, of course, and Goldberg's here. What was that, like 6 trucks showed? I don't think they showed Jim Jack and Reptoid. He's here. And of course, Charlie Pauken is driving Dennis's Gravedigger 7, since I think this was like one of the events after he got injured. Because afterwards, like everyone that drove Gravedigger 7 had to be someone different. and all that. And remember last time out in New Orleans when we covered it, how Dennis, of course, broke the truck, so he couldn't come back for racing after he won or freestyle, and he had his injury that ended up ending his season all up to World Finals 1. Yeah, you're gonna see more bad luck for Gravedigger in this event after New Orleans. Like, this actually might even be worse luck. This might honestly be like one up there's like the worst results for Gravedigger in the 2000 season, what you're going to be seeing tonight. Or really, the more sadder part is going to be in the next video I cover when I watch Orlando Freestyle. That's where it's going to be really sad. Alright, so, of course, since I'm talking a lot, I'm not really paying attention to what they're saying. Plus, I barely can even hear them. I'm at like 3 volumes, so I barely hear what they're saying. So hopefully that means I can just upload straight to YouTube with no problem, since I have no idea if it's the video or the audio that's causing it. Yeah, like when I talk on OBS, the volume's like maxed out red for my voice, and the audio for the video is like barely even a third at most, at its highest. But I think that was the entire field. Eradicator, Thrasher, Predator, Prowler, Wild Fang, Sting, NWO. Wait, did I say a Nitro, I think, missing? Yeah, here's the rest of the field. Jim Jack and Reptoid. And all that. And then there should be Scott Hartsock and Gunslinger next. And remember, Scott Hartsock had a lot of momentum going into this year. He raced Tom Meents in the finals this year. And you're going to see why. This event right here pretty much began at that early moment from like the early 2000s, from like 2000 to maybe 2003. Probably the biggest rivalry Machamp besides later on Tom Meents and Dennis Anderson, between Tom Meents and Scott Hartsock. Because once Gravedigger went down for the year, Scott Hartsock became the main driver to take down Tom. Man, I miss that like Tom Meents Scott Hartsock rivalry. Like after like 2003, it just died off. Like Scott Hartsock didn't become a huge force after 2003, and it just sucks. Like a lot of these rivalries went away soon afterwards. Really sucked. And of course, didn't see the matchups. Now, if I remember, it's gonna be Sting and Eradicator, Predator and NWO, Gravedigger and Prowler, Reptoid and Nitro in Infamous Moment, Goldberg and Wild Fang. Wait, then who does Thrasher face? That won't come to my head. I don't think they race 2 in this event, so I don't think that rivalry is going to be renewed between Jim Jack and Scott Hartsock. Alright. Yeah, we're talking about the Remote Ignition Interrupter, RII, which if you youngins don't know, when the officials think the truck's out of control, they'll shut the truck off through a remote that they have in their hands. The driver can also shut down the truck in the cab, and there's also a pull ring, which I think they actually talk about in this in this event too. There's a ring in the back of the truck where whoever the first official arrives on the truck when it's flipped or whatever, they're supposed to go behind the truck and pull the ring to make sure it's shut off for good. All 3 things usually are supposed to be done. So that's what will cause the truck to shut down whenever they do so. And yeah, remember too, youngins, before trucks drive, they always do an RII check. They make sure the RII works, and if it works, they're good to go. But otherwise, no, they're not allowed to drive unless it works. And this also is a preview of World Finals 0 that was in 1999 in St. Louis, when Buzz Loose had its old design in 1999. So how nostalgic. One day maybe I will watch that, because I only watched World Finals 0 like 2 times maybe. I need to watch that more. Alright, so the first race is Sting. Sky Hartley. Sting making it's not its debut, I think. I think it drove beforehand. And of course, this is the first time I saw these two back in 2000. Oh man, so nostalgic. Andy Slicko and Sky Hartley. Alright, so here we go. And Sky Hartley had the lead, and he had hit the pole right there, but I don't think those count as a penalty, though. I'm not sure. They were kind of inconsistent back then. And of course, back then, a lot of drivers had a tough time going across those courses. You see Andy Slick right there struggling, and Sky Hartley got the win. And of course, Andy Slick, for some reason, didn't even cross over. And I think he broke or something from racing, because I don't think he freestyled in this event. There were a bunch of trucks that didn't freestyle in this event because of damage. And you're going to be seeing why later on. Like, I think there's 12 trucks here. I think a third of them, so 4 trucks didn't drive in freestyle. But yeah, Sky Hartley, guys, win very easily as he moves on to round 2. So nostalgic seeing all these older drivers. Yeah, Sky later on, I mean, most of the year, I think, and you're going to see it, I think, later on tonight, he got a lot of lucky with, like, fast losers and such. Like, he would lose a lot of races, but then come back as a fast loser to still be, like, competitive in the point stands and all that. And that's probably got to the World Finals most likely. Alright, next race is NWO, who we saw last time I covered New Orleans, one racing. Rob's only racing win, I think. But I think they drove beforehand after this event. So I'm not sure if this was, like, immediately after New Orleans. And then, of course, Alan Pizzo and Predator. Back when he was still pretty solid competitor, and you're going to be seeing tonight, too. So here we go. This is actually a pretty good race, too, if I remember correctly. And NWO has the lead, but Predator hanging in there. And here we go into the turn. Hanging in, as you see, and it is going to be Predator at the end, as Rob Nell struggled a little bit at the end. So, Predator going to get the victory. After potentially winning racing last time in New Orleans. Already done. Nice air. Allen going to get the win. I'm trying to think. Allen, Predator and Prowler, like, they compete in Atlanta. I think they compete in Indianapolis. I think we saw that when we covered New Orleans freestyle last time out. I think they were in the background. Maybe they competed in Anaheim? Alright, now here's really funny. Of course, this is the first time you all see an NWO lose in racing, and Big Jump 2 had. And look at Chad Fortune. He's going to have a Karen level meltdown. You gotta be kidding me, he screamed. What do you want? We have been cheated. NWO never loses. And someone's messing with our equipment. And accusing Dan Moriarty of rigging a truck. This is like one of the funniest moments in the 2000 season. Our equipment's the best in Monster Jam. I don't have time to talk to you. I need an official now. Go get me an official. I need to speak to an official. Ah! And the bit keeps going when they come back. It never gets old. I wish I could let you all hear him scream and yell, but I can't. It's going to get blocked for one. I want to upload this video in one go. Now, here we go. Still arguing with the officials. Oh, this bit. It's stupid. It's cringy because, unfortunately, it gets into that, stereotype about, like, wrestling, like, rigging, like, Monster Jam. So, like, who wins and all that. Because that was a big thing back in the early 2000s when they did that WCW sponsorship and all that. And other things involving wrestling. So that really hurts. It hurts the image of monster trucks like that. But that still is very, very funny. Alright, so now they're talking to Scott Hartsock and Jim Jack. Since they're the Florida natives in this event. Sucks we can't hear what they're saying. And they're going to be up next. They're not race each other, but their races are coming up next. Now I think Thrasher faced Scott Hartsock. There we go. I think that's who it was. Alright, so as we know, Sting and Predator are in round 2. I don't think... they don't race each other, though. Because they didn't show the brackets in accurate order back then. Too, either, if y'all didn't know. They didn't really show the brackets in accurate order. Like, if I remember correctly, I think Predator and NWO were near the end of the bracket, and they showed the second race. Alright, here we go. Hatsuma, Thrasher, Scott Hartsock, Gunslinger. Alright, there's Eradicator in the back going there. And of course, Scott Hartsock, like the second best racer in 2000. Getting an easy big victory at the moment right here as Pat Suma struggles, and an easy victory for Scott Hartsock. Yeah, back then, of course, into the 80s and all the way up into like the 2000s somewhat, like mid 2000s maybe, there was a major skill difference and probably equipment difference between like the best trucks and the worst trucks. Like the best trucks, they will obliterate you. Like you saw like Scott Hartsock, and then later on we'll see Tom Meents. They were straight up just obliterating everyone with no effort until they faced each other where there was an actual competition. So it was like a combination of skill and equipment maybe. Because that's not the case as much now. Most trucks, most drivers are pretty equal with each other in terms of like equipment and skill. Or at least close to each other in terms of stuff, unless they like screw up or break or something. But you don't see like blowouts like this, like now you do nowadays by and large. So, alright, so here we go, our next race. This is like one up there is like one of the also infamous race of 2000. You're about to see Young Ones. You're going to be seeing something I replayed a lot on VHS when my dad recorded this. So Jim Jack Reptoid. Is that Cliff? Yep, Cliff Thomas. I was right. He drove Nitro the rest of the year after Joe Payne. I think Joe Payne's last event was New Orleans too for driving Nitro. At least for this year. But yeah, Jim Jack has the lead. And he runs into that stuff as it's stuck into the teeth. Alright, Young Ones, here we go. Another infamous moment in Monster Jam history. Here we go! Asukoi Nitro! Front flipped and destroyed the tire! Let's go! That was insane! And remember, this is 2000. Hell, even 2024 this would be considered insane. But 2000? Oh my god! This is like one of the most best things in Monster Truck history you're looking at back then, people. Look at this. Insane. Broke the front tire. Damaged the body right there. You see like some filter, something right there coming off, or maybe part of the fiberglass. And then took a hard hit right there. And yeah, unfortunately, Nitro is done for the night after that hit. So yeah, Nitro did win, but there's no way Nitro's going to come back from that damage, and of course it didn't. So technically that means Reptoid moves on to round 2 by default. Yeah, his steering wheel came off during the jump too, that's what he was talking about. It's wild too. We're seeing Cliff Thomas drive when he was just a crew chief of Gravedigger last week. What's insane? But anyways, so you see right here, Jim Jack, he did his pass. Unfortunately for him, he had a rough land right here, and he smashed the eye and part of the body and all that. So you think, okay, that's some body damage, but it shouldn't be that bad, right? Unfortunately, no. As Jim Jack said right here, he broke a shock on that landing. Yeah, he broke a shock on landing, so because of that, he also can't come back now. Hell, he can't even come back from freestyle, I don't think, either. So he's done for the night. So that means we're going to have a fast loser, I think, now. Instead of being on bye, as they would usually do later on in Monster Jam. And of course, in MTWS, that would be the case. If Near Truck could come back, then whoever they race the next round would just automatically have a bye. Alright, here we go. Now for our last races of round 1. Gravedigger and Prowler, Wildfang and Goldberg. And here we go. A nostalgic Monster Jam promo. Let's go! Oh man, the nostalgia. Crash Madness. Never got inside Monster Jam. Oh man, I remember so badly in 2000. I wanted that yearbook and I could never find it anywhere. I don't even think they had when we went to Monster Jam in Baltimore in 2000 that year. I wanted that yearbook so badly and I never was able to get it. Oh, so nostalgic remembering that. So anyways, Scott Hartsock moving on. technically Reptoid's in. There is a fast loser, but who did get the fast loser is not yet. But I'm not going to say who just yet. But yeah, they're talking about Power Sliner kind of like drifted someone turn. And this is San Antonio 2000 we're seeing right here, which maybe I'll cover in the future. We saw a part of it last time out. Really good turn that Rob Nell did right there. Although, funny enough, he lost that race, I think, too. And there's Charlie Palkin, who drove Gravedigger in this event because of Dennis's injury. And you see right here, here's what happened to Gravedigger in San Antonio, as we've seen before, when Dennis took a violent hit coming down and into the side of the dirt mountains, which broke Gravedigger. I don't think he competed in that event either in freestyle. And he lost that race, too, which is stunning. And, of course, here's Wild Fang in one of the events in the late 90s as Farrell went over and he broke a 4-link, you see right there. And, of course, there's Alan Pease on the same event. Driving the like Black Predator. Some of the events I think Alan drove this year, he had to swap body parts too with that darker Predator. So anyways, Dave Pizzo, one of Alan's relatives, gonna have to go up against Charlie Park and Gravedigger. Driving Dennis's Gravedigger 7, unlucky 7 too. The only year I think too where Gravedigger 7 had the flames on the roof, which is so cool. Sometimes I kind of wonder if they should maybe have considered doing that later for other Gravediggers later on. There you go, power wheeling as Gravedigger 7 always would do, as got the lead. Yeah, Charlie struggling because he's not used to his Gravedigger, but he's going to get the victory, although he was off the side a bit. So I always wondered, would that be considered a penalty? But it didn't. Because he did win and move on to round 2. He got the win, but it wasn't like the cleanest results. Okay, so he did get a penalty. I was correct. He didn't line for the cars correctly, so he did get a penalty. But Dave Pizzo also got a penalty, so it negated it. So I'm quite curious, because I don't think I saw what happened to Dave in his pass, so hopefully it'll show what happened. Hey, good old Charlie before I think it was before he even started the Chucky dance and all that. So, just like last time in New Orleans when we saw Mr. Excitement before he was Mr. Excitement, now we're seeing Charlie before he became Chucky as we know him. Alright, so here we go, the last race of round 1. Tony Farrell rip as he is going to face, oh boy, Tom Ed in his unstoppable season. Oh, you just got to feel bad for Tony having to do this. Oh, just painful. So here we go, our last race of round 1. And of course, Tom got his checkered flag back from whatever event he won afterwards. Tony's hanging in there, but you're not going to keep up with Tom. And here we go. Up there's Tom's infamous moments. Look at the air! Huge air for 2000. And what if I told you all Tom literally did that like all night in racing? Like every single hit he did was insane. Like look at this young ones. Remember, you can't get big air off of cars in little hills. And what's that? Look at that. Shows how retarded they were, and they need to eat crow for that. So Tom, of course, easy victory in his dominant year. And the funny thing was, as Tom was talking right there, he actually struggled. Like, guys, think about that. He obliterated Tony, and he thinks he struggled. And there is some damage to the truck he was talking about. I wonder if this event really... No, it couldn't have, because Tom lost the flag after he lost racing in New Orleans, and he has the flag back, so he had to have competed in an event somewhere in between New Orleans and Orlando. But he does say he had some damage. Alright. So anyways, round 2 is now over. Round 1's now over. So, the races. It's Gravedigger going up against Predator. And, I think it's Gunslinger going up against Sting. And Goldberg going up against Wild Fang again, because Wild Fang was the fast loser, since Jim Jack and Cliff Thomas couldn't come back. So I think that's the matchups. Well, I know for a fact Gravedigger and Predator are gonna face each other. I know that at least. I'm pretty sure afterwards it was Sting and Gunslinger and Wildfang and Goldberg. And also, youngins, since we have an uneven amount of trucks going into the semifinals, that means we will have a fast loser too for the semifinals as well. So whoever loses here is not automatically out yet either. So here we go. I was right. Predator, Gravedigger, Sting, Gunslinger, Goldberg, Wildfang, and whoever's the fast loser will come back for the semifinals. So yeah, lucky Tony coming back, so Tom doesn't have to face either Cliff Thomas or Jim Jack. Okay, there we did Jargon Jam. How it works, okay? So I think they talk about yeah, they're talking about like stuff on the trucks, like the smoke generator for Reptoid. See, Bulldozer was not the only one back then, young ones, that had smoke coming out. It was also Reptoid 2. So they're talking about it, and probably a switch in the truck that activates it. Plus the lights too on Reptoid 2 light up. They see right there, they're like lit up. Alright, so as yep, showing off the lights and the smoke again. There you go, see once again, young ones. And I'm pretty sure they'll talk about others too, because Gravedigger, remember, has headlights. Goldberg technically has headlights too, but I don't know if they work kind of like how Gravedigger would do. Alright, here we go. Round 2 now. As up next, here we go. Alan Pizzo and Charlie Pauken gonna go at it here in round 2. Yeah, like look at the back of Predator. You can see like the using the Black Predator's like body back there. Alright, here we go. And I see Gravedigger struggles of 2000 continues. Just nothing going right for that Gravedigger 7. And which is incredible because Alan Pizzo had a horrendously bad turn. Like, look how far off he was! Like, dude! If it wasn't for Charlie having a terrible pass, Charlie could have probably easily have gotten the victory. But, nope. Alan got it. Oh, yeah, I think Alan, came to a stop right here. Yeah, he missed it, see? He went way wide, missed the jump completely. Charlie didn't miss it. He just had a bad start because something happened to Gravedigger. But yeah, guys, you saw what happened. Gravedigger, just the pain of 2000 continued on. And if you think what happened to Charlie here is bad, oh no. Oh no. Just wait till I cover it freestyle. Oh, you're going to feel even more sad. You're going to feel very sad for not only him, but Gravedigger. What happened when I cover freestyle for this event? It was probably like the worst moment for Gravedigger this in 2000 besides Dennis getting injured. And yeah, you saw right there, it looked like Predator coming out of the tunnel right there where the trucks go back in. So yeah, Gravedigger and Predator were near the end of the bracket and all that, but they showed it first. That was the first race they showed of round 2, but bracket wise it was the end. Like, I don't know why they do that unless it's like trucks broken. All it's stupid. Yep, I wish I had that yearbook. I got like every yearbook, I think, from like 2001 to 2009 maybe, and then afterwards I think I only got 2011 to 2013 when I went to the Baltimore events in M&T, but after that nothing. Alright, so next race should be an interesting one maybe, because Sky Hartley can keep up maybe. And of course, we'll see how he does against Scott Hartsock, who's just blowing him out right now. Like I said, Scott Hartsock, once Dennis went down and Gravedigger struggled, Scott Hartsock easily was the second best driver that year, as he easily got the victory. But remember, Sky Hartley and Charlie Plotkin are not done yet, because there is a fast loser, but Sky Hartley easily got home fast loser at the moment. I already know who got fast loser, but I'm not going to say who. But whoever loses this round is not guaranteed to be done just yet. They still have a chance to come back. But yeah, Scott Hartsock moving on easily to the semifinals. Alright, so now we wait for our final race of round 2. Tom Meents and Tony Farrell for the second time tonight, since Farrell came back as the fast loser. And the only reason coming back was because of the damage of Reptoid and Nitro. If it went for them, they would have raced. So Farrell got a break. Rip Farrell. And like I said, this was his last year driving Wildfang before he drove Sting next year. And then he would drive Blue Thunder from 2002 all the way up to, like, what was it, 2009 or so, or 2010 maybe. And yeah, Tom had the whole shot, of course. Like, no duh. And also they swapped lanes too, as you see right here as well. Farrell had a better turn, but yeah, you're just not going to keep up with Tom, like I said earlier. And then watch this, young ones. And once again, Tom, big air off the jump and almost went over. Oh my gosh. Tom, like, he is the GOAT. I mean, he's up there as one of the GOATs. And this 2000 season, you can see why he was the GOAT. Easily moves on. And as you could probably clearly tell from the results from the losers tonight, that Sky Hartley was the fast loser round 2. So he's coming back, and I already know the matchups. Sky Hartley is going to face Tom now. Ugh. So I'm sure it means Tom was #1 qualifier in this event, because that's usually where the fast loser goes, right after the #1 seed. And then it'll be Scott Hartsock against Alan Pizzo. So yeah. Two very good, like, two of the best racers in 2000. And Sky Hartley and Alan Pizzo still were really solid, good racers in 2000, so they could still make some noise and all that. Like, they shouldn't be dismissed. Alright, so time for the semifinals. Goldberg, Gunslinger, Sting, and Predator remain. Just 4 trucks left. Let's see how much is left. 10 minutes left. Yeah, that is more of the bigger matchup. Sky and Tom going at it. Hey, I cannot wait for this. So here we go, semifinals. Yeah, I like how the bracket beforehand showed Predator and Gravedigger at the bottom. Now they're showing them at the top. Yeah, sure. That's how the bracket went. We all know that's not how it went, though. But anyways, that is how it's going to be. First up, Alan Pizzo and Scott Hartsock going to go at it. Oh, they actually were back there first. So I see Tom back there. Look like getting ready to go out there in a moment. Alright, here we go. Scott Hartsock and Alan Pizzo. And here we go. And a whole shot for Scott Hartsock. But hey, Alan Pizzo is still hanging in there. You can see he's still hanging in there despite not having a whole shot. But it's going to come down to the turn. He had a better turn. He's right there. But Scott Hartsock is still going to get the victory. But hey, give it up to Alan. He gave a good effort and all that. Like I told you all, like I remember, like people always like smugly dismiss Alan Pizzo and like Jim Jack and others. But these guys were solid racers. Especially back then. They were definitely a challenge back then. So you shouldn't like dismiss them and all that. Alan put up the best fight so far against Scott, but just wasn't quite enough in the end. So Scott Hartsock is in the finals. But now, gotta wait for the next matchup, the big one. Goldberg and Sting. Hopefully it'll be a big matchup. And I'm pretty sure too that was the promo preview of Gunslinger throughout the event. Was that shot right there going over the racing lane? Really, really, you need to do a commercial break before the last semifinals matchup? Really? All right, here we go. The last race of the semifinals. Goldberg and Sting about to go at it. Alright, so, as they are getting ready, who will face Scott Hartsock in the finals? As Sky, of course, came back after losing to Scott Hartsock in round 2, as he had the bye. I mean, fast loser. But unfortunately for him, unless Tom breaks, he doesn't get a second chance. If he loses here, he is done for racing. Alright, so, as we're waiting for this matchup, Goldberg and Sting. As here we go, Tom had the whole shot. But yeah, Scott Hartley's still hanging there, but he's getting kind of blown out a bit right there. But here we go, what a dominant term as always for Tom. As you see, easy, no effort, and Tom going to get the victory. This jump wasn't his most impressive tonight, but still, that's pretty impressive. Look at the air he got, like all the way out to the grass, almost touched the barrier right there. But yeah, Sky Hartley tried to keep up, but like it's very difficult to beat Tom right there on this track. He was just that good. As Easy got the victory as he moves on to the finals. So now, kiddies, we get the biggest matchup of 2000 you can get back then. Tom Meents and Scott Hartsock going at it for the racing win on the line in Orlando. Oh man, just wait till you see the finals, young ones, because 2 insane things happen. It is going to be wild. Now imagine how I felt as a 6-year-old watches when I rewatched the tape and then replayed it over and over and over again. While I played Pokemon too. Here we go, the finals. Goldberg and Gunslinger. This is, like I said before, a very old rivalry that pretty much died after 2003, and it really sucks. As they're showing a preview of more freestyle coming up. I hate that when they do that. So yeah, next video I will be covering will be Orlando Freestyle, which is going to be very special to me, which I'll talk about then. Although if you've seen my History of MTWF series, you know why Orlando Freestyle is special to me just as much as New Orleans Racing. But here we go, the big matchup. This is like, I kid you not, young ones, like the 4th or maybe 5th time these two faced each other in the finals in 2000. Hell, this was the final matchup in World Finals 1 for crying out loud. But this one was honestly the bigger matchup of the season. Even bigger than World Finals 1. Yeah, the 1 minute Maalox moment. How nostalgic. And the wild thing is, you see the steering wheel, I think, stayed in around him still, despite the flip. But here we go. The finals. Scott Hartsock, Tom Meents, about to go at it. Who will win the racing here in Orlando? And 2 insane moments we're going to be seeing happen in just a moment. This is going to be insane, young ones. Insane. As here we go. A big finals. And Scott Hartsock with the whole shot, but Tom, of course, right there. Never underestimate him. But here we go for the final jump as Tom's hanging in there. But as you can see, it's going to be Scott Hartsock going to get it. Scott Hartsock's going to win, but then watch this. He's flipping, and then to top it off, that soft landing breaks a tire off. Oh my God, how nostalgic. Tom losing only the 2nd finals of the season. He had a wild finish in the end, and unfortunately, that tire breaking off somehow cost him the night too, as he is not coming back for freestyle. I don't know how the tire broke off like that. Like, that seems so stupid how the tire broke off. But unfortunately, the damage is too much for him. He can't come back. And I think this is his only event where he didn't freestyle in 2000 that he competed in. Yeah, like, look at this inside the cam. Oh my gosh, like, look at this.
I don't even know what happened, to be honest with you. Let me ask you honestly, are you happy that this track is known for a little while?
So yeah, you saw Tom, only his second finals loss of the season, I think. And he got pretty much spanked by Scott Hartsock, too. Unfortunately, this rivalry was pretty big, but it kind of was lopsided for, like, 2000, because, like I said, these two faced each other in the finals 4 times, I think. This was the only time Scott Hartsock beat Tom Meents in the finals that year. And he spanked Tom, too. He just obliterated him in that turn. When Tom was so good in the turns all year, that time he was not. As Scott Hartsock easily got the victory, as Tom had the wild flip at the end. You gotta wonder how Scott felt when he won, like, oh my god, what's Tom doing in front of me? That was fun. But of course, they're gonna show one more thing I want to cover here before I stop the video. Man, that was just an insane performance. Scott Hartsock was just dominant this night. The funny thing is, it seemed he had a harder, bigger challenge when he faced Alan Pizzo in the semifinals than Tom. Like, he pretty much had Tom's number going into the turn. Alan Pizzo was still kind of there after the turn and all that. But yeah, dominant performance. Scott Hartsock, easily the second best racer of the 2000 season behind Tom Meents, as he was like the only one that really could have challenged Tom. Yes, Jim Kohler beat him in New Orleans when we covered it, but that was because Tom broke. Scott Hartsock straight up beat him. Straight up beat him. But yeah, Goldberg, see, look how dominant Tom was. He's so dominant, he's more than double second place in the point standings. Insane. That's how insane he was. But yeah, as they're doing the storylines after the event, Charlie Pocket had a terrible night, and it's going to get worse next time out when I covered it. And of course, wild moment for Tom, and just like what happened in New Orleans, the tradition continued for 2000. He lost his checkered flag, as that is being taken off, as Scott Hartsock won it. And by the way, after this event in New Orleans, the next time the Monster Jam went to was Jacksonville, and Scott Hartsock did have the flag on the back of the truck in that event when we covered Jacksonville. He ran with the flag on the truck. And Tom had to get it back in the finals. In a wild finals that was. Insane. Oh, man. Yep. Congratulations to Scott Hartsock. Like one of his most famous moments in the 2000 season. As he won racing in Orlando. Alright, guys. So that's going to do it here. What a wild racing event that was. And you cannot deny that was awesome. Even today still. As Scott Hartsock beat Tom Meents, gave him only his second loss in the finals in the season. Actually, I think overall it's only his second loss in the 2000 season. Because Tom was just that dominant. I've been saying for like the last 3 events I covered, but he really was that dominant, young ones. He was. And that's why he's the GOAT. So yeah, next event I'm going to be covering, oh boy, it's going to be so nostalgic and sentimental for me, as it's going to be Orlando 2000 Freestyle. Alright everyone, so see you all then when I cover New Orleans 2000 Freestyle. Orlando Freestyle 2000.